Life feels complicated because we make it complicated. I want you to imagine something with me. What if the path to an easier life isn't about doing more, but about doing differently? The first principle that transforms how you experience daily life is called effortless intentionality. Here's the reality: ease emerges from aligned priorities rather than passive existence. Most people have it backwards. They believe that ease comes from avoiding effort, when actually, it comes from directing effort toward what truly matters. The difference between someone who finds life easy and someone who finds it hard isn't their circumstances. It's how they direct their energy. The most powerful shift happens when you start asking not how can I do less, but how can I focus more on what matters? Consider how many decisions you make on autopilot each day that don't align with what you actually value. We all do it. We scroll when we want connection. We buy things when we want fulfillment. We stay busy when we want purpose. It's like trying to satisfy your hunger by drinking water. It might temporarily fill your stomach, but it's not giving you what you actually need. Chapter 1: Micro Simplicity. The power of breaking things down. Why do we make things so complicated? I'll tell you why. Because our brains are absolutely terrible at handling complexity. The second transformative principle is micro simplicity focus. Our minds freeze when confronted with overwhelming tasks. It's not laziness, it's how we're wired. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to solve the whole problem at once. It's like trying to eat an entire pizza in one bite. You're going to choke, and it's not going to be pretty for anyone involved. Instead, break every overwhelming task into its elemental components. Not just steps, but the smallest possible micro actions. Don't write clean kitchen on your to-do list. Write put dishes in dishwasher. Then wipe counter. Then sweep floor. Here's something funny about our brains. They hate big tasks, but love checking things off. It's like we're all secretly squirrels gathering nuts of accomplishment. This elemental approach creates momentum because each micro completion releases dopamine. You move from overwhelm to a series of small wins. The task doesn't change, but your experience of it transforms completely. Chapter 2: Decision Energy Budgeting. Did you know you have a finite amount of decision-making power each day? Think of it like your phone battery, and most of us are running on 5% before lunch. The third principle that will transform your life is decision energy budgeting. Every decision you make, from what to wear to what to eat, to which email to answer first, depletes your mental resources. This is why even smart, capable people make terrible decisions when they're tired. We waste our best mental energy on trivial choices, then wonder why we can't make progress on what matters. It's like using a Ferrari to deliver newspapers. The solution is ruthless automation of low-value decisions. Create systems for recurring choices, meal templates, capsule wardrobes, morning routines. The goal isn't to make your life boring. It's to preserve your mental firepower for decisions that actually deserve it. Look at your day and identify decisions you make repeatedly that don't deserve your precious mental energy. Then build a system to handle them automatically. Your brain will thank you, and suddenly you'll have the energy to tackle what really matters. Chapter 3: Present Tense Living. We spend 90% of our anxiety on problems that don't actually exist. Let that sink in for a moment. We're literally making ourselves miserable fighting enemies that aren't even real. The fourth transformative principle is present tense living. This isn't some mystical concept. It's intensely practical. Present tense living means solving only current problems rather than imaginary futures. Our minds are time-traveling machines, constantly bouncing between past regrets and future fears. Meanwhile, the only place where we can actually take effective action is right here, right now. This shift transforms how you experience challenges. Instead of asking, what if this all goes wrong? Ask, what's the actual problem in front of me right now? It's like the difference between fighting an entire army in your imagination versus facing the one opponent actually in the room. The present moment is where your power lives. It's where solutions emerge. It's where anxiety dissolves. And here's the irony. By fully addressing what's actually in front of you now, you naturally create a better future without the worry. Chapter 4. Anti-Perfectionism Practice. Perfectionism is a disease that masquerades as a virtue. It's the equivalent of refusing to drive your car until you can guarantee you'll never hit a red light. The fifth transformative principle is anti-perfectionism practice. This means embracing good enough as the new excellence standard. Not because you're lowering your standards, but because you're becoming strategic about what deserves your complete attention. Perfect is the enemy of done, but more importantly, it's the enemy of started. How many important projects are sitting in your mind, waiting for that mythical perfect moment to begin? The practice works like this. For every task, consciously decide in advance what level of quality is actually needed. Some things deserve your highest standards. Many things don't. It's about being selective with your excellence, not abandoning it altogether. For example, does that email need to be perfectly crafted or just clear? Does your living room need to be magazine-worthy or just comfortable? Most of us are applying gourmet chef standards to making a sandwich. By embracing strategic good enough, you create space for what truly deserves your highest attention. You complete more. You start more. You actually achieve more excellence where it counts. And the wonderful irony is that you end up with better overall results than the perfectionist who's still tinkering with their first draft. Chapter 5. Integration. The daily practice. These principles aren't theoretical concepts to admire from a distance. They're tools you need to pick up and use every single day. Let's bring everything together into a daily practice. Start each morning with a moment of effortless intentionality. Ask yourself, what truly matters today? This isn't about your to-do list. It's about identifying the small number of things that will actually move your life forward. Next, apply micro-simplicity to your most important task. Break it down into elements so small they seem almost trivial. Then begin with just one. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but most people never start because they're too busy staring at the entire map. Practice decision energy budgeting by identifying one recurring choice you can automate today. What system can you create that eliminates a daily decision? Your willpower is precious. Stop wasting it on questions that don't deserve it. Throughout the day, catch yourself when you drift from present tense living. Gently bring yourself back to the actual problem at hand, not the imagined future catastrophe. Your mind will wander into imaginary scenarios. That's what minds do. Your job is to kindly escort it back to reality. Finally, practice anti-perfectionism by consciously deciding the appropriate quality level for each task. Give yourself permission to complete things at good enough when that's all they deserve. Save your perfectionism for the few things that truly warrant it. The rest of the time, done is better than perfect. Ready to make life easier in a world that feels constantly complicated? Join our YouTube membership for exclusive perks like early access to scripts, input on future topics about productivity, and a direct connection with a community focused on living smarter, not harder. Click join below and let's build your easier, more intentional life together. Chapter 6. Expectation Detox. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. That's not just some ancient wisdom, it's practical neuroscience. The seventh transformative principle is expectation detox. This means replacing anticipation with curious observation. Most of our disappointment and frustration comes not from what happens, but from the gap between what happens and what we expected. We're constantly writing scripts for how things should go, then feeling betrayed when reality doesn't follow our screenplay. It's like getting angry at the ocean for not being flat. The practice is simple but profound. Become aware of your expectations as they form. Then consciously replace them with curiosity about what will actually unfold. Instead of saying, this meeting needs to go perfectly, try, I wonder how this meeting will unfold. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about releasing your attachment to specific outcomes. When you approach life with curiosity instead of rigid expectations, you discover solutions you never imagined. And ironically, you often end up with better results than your original expectation. Plus the bonus of enjoying the journey. Chapter 7. Non-resistance philosophy. Most of our energy is wasted fighting against reality rather than working with it. It's like trying to swim upstream when we could be building a sail. The eighth principle that will transform your experience of life is the non-resistance philosophy. This means flowing with life's currents instead of battling circumstances. Think about what happens when you step into quicksand. The more you struggle against it, the faster you sink. But if you relax and spread your weight, you can actually float on its surface. Life's challenges work the same way. When you resist what's happening, you create tension, stress, and wasted energy. When you accept what's happening, even while working to change it, you operate from a place of power. It's the difference between saying, "This shouldn't be happening," and "This is happening. Now, what's my next move?" The non resistance approach transforms how you handle problems. It conserves your energy. It keeps you focused on solutions rather than complaints. It maintains your access to creativity and insight. And perhaps most importantly, it allows you to navigate life's rapids without being emotionally drained by every twist and turn. Chapter 8: Opportunity Filtering. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. That isn't just good advice, it's a fundamental principle of an easier life. The ninth transformative principle is opportunity filtering, specifically, using what's called the hell yeah or no criterion. This powerful filter helps you distinguish between good opportunities and great ones, between what's merely appealing and what's truly aligned with your priorities. Most of us say yes to far too many things that we feel just lukewarm about. Then we wonder why we have no time or energy for what truly matters. The practice works like this. When considering an opportunity, commitment, or even a purchase, if your gut response isn't, "Hell yeah, absolutely," then your answer should be no. It's about being brutally honest with yourself about what genuinely excites you versus what you feel you should do. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that every yes comes at the cost of something else. The magic happens when you start saying no to good things in order to say yes to great things. Suddenly, life gets a whole lot easier. Chapter 9: Cognitive Outsourcing. Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Yet most of us are walking around with our brains stuffed full of things to remember, like an overpacked suitcase. The 10th transformative principle is cognitive outsourcing. This means using lists, calendars, and systems as external memory instead of trying to keep everything in your head. Every item you try to remember creates what psychologists call cognitive load. It's like having dozens of apps running in the background of your phone. Eventually, it slows everything down and drains your battery. The practice is straightforward. Build trusted systems outside your mind to track commitments, ideas, and information. Calendar apps for appointments, task managers for commitments, note apps for ideas. When you know something is safely captured in a system you trust, your brain can finally let go of it. The difference this creates is profound. Your thinking becomes clearer. Your stress levels drop. Your creative capacity expands. It's like going from a cluttered room where you can barely move to a clean, open space, where possibilities suddenly become visible. Chapter 10: Fear Inoculation. The size of your life is directly proportional to the size of the discomfort you're willing to tolerate. But here's the good news. Discomfort is a skill you can actually develop. The 11th transformative principle is what's called fear inoculation. Similar to how vaccines work by introducing a small amount of a pathogen, you can build resilience by deliberately exposing yourself to manageable doses of discomfort. Most people think the goal is to eliminate fear or uncertainty, but that's a recipe for a small, constrained life. The real goal is to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The practice works like this. Regularly identify and take small actions that scare you but won't devastate you if they go wrong. Make the slightly uncomfortable phone call. Have the moderately difficult conversation. Try the somewhat intimidating new activity. Think of it like going to the gym for your courage muscles. Each rep makes you stronger for the next challenge. Over time, what once seemed frightening becomes merely interesting. Your comfort zone expands. Your resilience grows. And suddenly, you realize that life is easier not because you have fewer challenges, but because you've become stronger in facing them. The most beautiful thing about these principles is that they compound. Each one makes the others more powerful. When you practice these 10 principles consistently, something remarkable happens. Life doesn't become perfect. It becomes manageable. Then it becomes fluid. Then it becomes easier. It's like watching a tangled ball of string slowly unravel until you can see each individual thread clearly. You'll notice you have more energy at the end of the day. You'll find yourself completing important projects rather than just thinking about them. You'll experience less anxiety about the future because you're fully engaged with the present. And, perhaps most surprisingly, you'll discover that ease isn't about doing less, it's about doing what matters. The transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens one decision at a time, one task at a time, one moment at a time. But each step builds on the last until one day you realize that life feels fundamentally different. So, which principle will you start with today? Which one resonated most deeply? Remember, you don't need to implement everything at once. That would defeat the entire purpose. Pick one principle. Apply it today. Notice what shifts. Because the journey to an easier life begins with a single, intentional step. And I'd love to know which principle you're starting with. Share in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation. Oh, and there's more. I've just started a Patreon to help support these videos and connect with you more directly. Check out the link in the description if you'd like to join. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.